Are we about to experience a shift in the market as it relates to housing and real estate? We've been waiting for this shift for seemingly 2+ years, and now the energy is starting to build to where it feels like something might be changing relatively soon. We just experienced our lowest mortgage rate level in 10 months. So, all of 2025, and then dating back into the fall of 2024, when rates were that low at 6.5, 6.55%. That's where we're at as of this recording. Now, are they going to continue to trend down even further? Maybe, maybe not. We just don't know. All we can really do is assess the future based off of the information that we have right now. And right now, what we're anticipating for September is a Fed fund rate cut of 0.25 basis points. Now, it's not the 300 points that President Trump is calling for, but at least it kind of gets the ball rolling in that direction. Maybe another one comes in October, maybe another one after that in November or December. So we don't know where exactly things are headed in terms of mortgage rates, but what we can say right now, based off of this recording, is that mortgage rates are at their lowest point in 10 months. Now, how does that apply to the Bend and Central Oregon real estate market? We're going to be analyzing some of the data as we just got our report for the month of August. What's going on locally here in the real estate market as it relates to Bend transactions and Bend median home prices, as well as Redmond, Sisters, Lapine, all the local areas that you are curious about. Maybe you're here locally getting ready for some type of transaction. Maybe you're somewhere else and you're gearing up to move here, but you want to get as much information as you possibly can before you get here so you're ready to hit the ground running. That's what today's video is all about, because with real estate, while it does seem like it moves slow sometimes, it's still moving pretty quickly. So we got to stay up to speed on everything that's going on, especially when you are getting ready to enter into the real estate market yourself. So that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to jump into the computer right now and we will start sharing some of this data and shedding light on what's happening locally here in Bend. Okay, so we've got our August version of the Beacon report up here. You can see the date now, August 6th. That is as of today. And this is very interesting. We get this data about this time every single month. And last month, the big outcry for everybody locally was the fact that the median home price in Bend went down below $700,000 for the first time in the month of June. Okay, not February, in the first time in the month of June since 2021. So that was 4 years ago. But we have catapulted back. I always talk about how the median home price is the least important of all these data points that we're about to really analyze, because it just swings back and forth every single month. It's all based off of the previous month's sales. And so what you can see here is Bend is back up into a healthy number of 750,000, and our all-time high is just a couple of months back before that at 832,000. So we've had a couple months over the last 36 where we've flirted with $800,000 or more. And now we're kind of in the mid 700s. It's all by design. Our interest rates have been high locally for the last 5 years almost. And it feels like it's really starting to wear on people. I did just say that we're at our lowest interest rate in 10 months of 6.57%. Okay, so it's starting to come down a little bit. Will it bounce back up? It might. I don't know. But what we do know is that right now, when rates have been in the 6.5-ish percentile, there's a lot of people that are applying for mortgages right now. And that could be something that could continue on if those rates continue to just slowly but surely go down. A lot of people might start refinancing too. So let's continue moving with this data sheet as we continue looking at the Bend local data. Now, last month we had 173 transactions. And what gives about that, right? Our interest rates are so high. It's designed to slow down transactional volume. If you really look at this data piece right here, this is the most transactions we've had, more than 172, in the last 36 months. Okay, dating back to August of 2022, when we had 189 single-family homes that sold and transacted in a single month in the Bend area. So the second highest volume of transactions in the last 3 years, with these rates being so high and with it being July, a travel month. So a very interesting metric as we continue looking into what's going on behind the scenes with the Bend real estate market. 173 transactions, that is a lot for Bend. We had a couple months back during that COVID boom when we were over 200 transactions a month. But right now, with the way it's designed to be slow, 173 transactions. That's a high number. So interesting things for sure. We'll continue looking at some of the other key data points. Median days on market is 21. So we have a lot of homes that end up sitting for a significant amount of time. It really depends on you as the seller. It also depends on who your realtor is. Obviously, real estate's a very competitive business. There's 2,000 of us realtors in this small market of 225,000 people. That's an astronomical amount of realtors to actual homes available for some sort of transaction. Point being is this: when it's very competitive, it's very important that you really vet the realtor that you are interviewing, because what happens if they do overpromise something, especially if you're trying to get a listing in a not so great seller's market? Right now, there's a lot of seller or listing agents right now that are going to be promising this or promising that. I can sell it for this amount, when in reality, the market will speak to you. And so, with median days on market, those homes that are really sitting on the market for 100 days or more, either the seller and slash owner of that home has a number that they are attached to that does not relate to the current state of the market, or their realtor has promised them something that could be false hope-ish. So it's important to really understand where we are in the market, because if you look at this metric right here, 21 days, that is still relatively low. I get coming out of here, if you look over here, that's July of 2022. This whole line goes down like this. If you go back months beyond that, that's when we had less than, say, 10 days on market. We had like an 8-month stretch of about 5 days on market, somewhere in there, where it was crazy. They were just flying off the shelves. But now being at 21 in the low 20s for the last 4 months, after it being so high for the 4 or 5 months before that, that's a very interesting metric, because there are plenty of homes that are just sitting and sitting and sitting. So there are also plenty of homes that are really going quickly because they are priced appropriately for this market. So it's important to be able to decipher between the two. If you're in the market as a buyer, how many other homes are similar to the one that you like? Okay, that's a very important thing to know too. There's all kinds of strategy when it comes to playing the market that you have, playing the hand that you're dealt with in a specific market. Right now, this market is completely different than where we were at 3 or 4 years ago. So it's very important that you stay up to speed, because there are a lot of sellers, a lot of buyers that still are kind of feeling the effects from 4 years ago. It was a very polarizing time, to say the very least. Let's go down to our other key metric that we always cover here in these videos: inventory. So we had 2 straight months of 5, and now we're at 4.5 months. Again, a very large number of homes are for sale right now. There's a lot of people that are not buying homes that otherwise would in a different state of the market. We still have that number of 500,000 more sellers in the country than we do buyers. And that is the largest discrepancy potentially ever when it comes to buyers and sellers balancing out a market. Right now, it's not so balanced. And so it's very telling. It's going to be very indicative of what is going on with each specific house, because there's a lot of people in Bend that are trying to live here. There's a lot of people in Bend that want to transact in real estate, but there's also plenty of people that are not prepared for the state of the market right now. It's very important that you are. But 4.5 months, if you're a buyer, you have a lot of leverage. Okay, there's plenty of homes out there. If there's one home that you love, there's chances are there's another one that we can find, and play those two against each other to figure out what the best deal is going to be. So it all comes down to preference. It all comes down to understanding what is going on in the state of the market. Hey, real quick, if this is your first time to the channel, or it's your 50th, that doesn't matter to us, and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the lifestyle in Bend and surrounding sunny Central Oregon, then subscribe to our channel, tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings and lifestyle happenings here in Bend and Central Oregon. My name's Ryan, and I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. Zach and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help with their next transaction as it relates to real estate here in Bend and Central Oregon. So whether you're looking to make that transaction a possibility in the next 90 days or 90 days or even beyond that. That doesn't matter to us either. Give us a call or shoot us a text and we can set up a meeting if you're somewhere else. But if you're local, let's go get coffee somewhere and we can discuss your situation to figure out what the next course of action should be pertaining to your real estate situation. But it starts with you guys reaching out to us. So you can see our phone number right there. Give us a call or shoot us a text and we can arrange a time to chat further. Now, back to the video. Now, let's check out Redmond, the second largest town in Central Oregon. Another very important slate of metrics because there are plenty of people that want to move to Redmond, and Redmond is growing probably as fast, maybe even a little faster than Bend as of this moment right now in time. And we've had very, very steadfast data with Redmond. I've talked about it in other videos, but man, 500,000 for a median home price or above seems to be the norm, and it continues on. $506,000 last month for a median single family home. That's the price point that we're talking about. Redmond's all-time high is 562, but it is very, very common now just to expect the median home price to be at 500,000 or more for the city of Redmond, a town of about 40,000 people. It's about one third the size of Bend, or just a little bit bigger than one third the size of Bend, but it's growing like leaps and bounds, and it's an interesting spot for sure. Now we've got 56 total transactions. That's about par for the course right there. Bend tripled it last month, so that is another interesting comparable because we've had other months where basically it was just in half or less. Redmond did maybe 60% of the transactions Bend did. So every month is different. And so it's always important to really kind of compare the two towns. Which one has more momentum than the other, as opposed to this month versus the previous month, et cetera. Because there's plenty of people that are unopposed to Bend or Redmond. They just know they want to be in Central Oregon. Whereas plenty of other clients that we have, it's Bend or it's Redmond specifically. So it all depends on who you are and what your preferences are. So we continue looking at now median days on market. Okay, 26. Again, the national real estate market is either really soft in places or it is actually seeing some interesting growth. Right now, we've seen softening. We've had our median home price go from as high as 832 all the way down to 690-ish, and then back up to 750 for Bend. And Redmond's been very, very just steadfast, right? Like I talked about earlier, but it still feels like it's softening because there are so many homes available on the market. Our inventory has been so high for several months, and it's something that everybody is adjusting to. And it takes some people a little bit longer than others to really adjust to that reality. And if you're a seller, got some clients right now. Been working on many buyer transactions over the last couple of months. Some sellers are hell-bent on just their price and they think that's what their home is worth, and they're using comps from 12 months ago, from 24 months ago, from 30 months ago, and they just don't check out. So you can tell that some people are just not up to speed with the current state of the market. And there are occasions now, multiple times, where there's an asking price and we will offer 90% of that asking price, and we will then negotiate from there. Sometimes we get that price. Other times we negotiate up to 93% or 95%. It just depends on the demand for that home. But there are plenty of sellers that are coming to grips with reality that, hey, I have a number in mind, but I also need to be flexible if I want to make this transaction actually happen. Now we continue on. Redmond has 3 months of inventory for the third straight month, and that precedes 6 months of 2 months of inventory. Okay, so now we are a little bit under what Bend has been at in terms of their inventory, but 3 months is still a decent number, and that is holding strong over the last 3 months. And now if we scroll down and get into more of our smaller markets, what we're going to see here as we wrap up the video, we had Sisters, 815,000 for a median priced home, single family home. Number of sales was 5. Days on market's 14. Current inventory is 5 months. Not a ton of activity in Sisters, right? 5 total transactions for an entire month, but that's typical. Anywhere from 5 to 20, maybe, depends on the month. And then you have Sun River, same deal. 1,050,000 right now is the median home price. That will range from 1.6 from a few months ago all the way down to 850 or 750 even just a couple months after that 1.6 for a median home price. So that, wide variations. That's a vacation home market there essentially. 9 total transactions. A lot of people are curious about short-term rentals in that specific market there. Days on market's 35, 9 months of inventory. 9 months is a long time. That's a lot of inventory. So there's a lot to choose from right now. If you are in the market for a short-term rental or a home in Sun River, okay, just understand you have a lot to choose from. So it's very important that you are specific, you're picky, you're patient. Find the right one that you know will sell quick when it's your turn to sell it. Those are all things to consider when buying a home right now, especially when you have the luxury of sleeping on it or just watching a property or watching a few different properties. See which one goes first and react to the other one. That's the key right now. It's the approach for this market is being patient and also doing your due diligence. You don't have to rush into a transaction like a lot of people did back in 2021 and then realize a month into owning it, you don't like the home. You can actually be sure this time, and that's nice. Madras, Jefferson County. Let's take a look here. We've got 409 median price. We've got 17 sales, days on market 74, 5 months inventory. Up Lapine, 386,000, 11 sales, 61 days on market, 7 months of inventory. Crick County, that's Prineville, 420. Number of sales is 23, days on market, 32, and then 5 months of inventory. So we're looking at our smaller markets in the Central Oregon area that have 5 months or more of inventory right now. So you can be patient in those smaller markets. You can also be patient in Bend. You can also be patient in Redmond. We are seeing an uptick in the volume of transactions for Bend. And so that's interesting. But I would say for the summer months right now, July tends to slow down quite a bit. A lot of people get distracted with other things going on. They're on vacation. They're just not focused on real estate like they were, say, in the springtime. And so once July comes and goes, and then you get reacclimated in August, now you can refocus on what it is your goals might be. And there's typically a fresh slate of inventory that will come onto the market for the fall transactional period as well, albeit we still have plenty of inventory on the market right now. So add those two together, and if you're a buyer, you're still in a pretty darn good position. So all things to consider as you continue navigating your real estate journey here. The next couple of months are going to be very interesting. Are we going to see interest rates come down to maybe the mid to low sixes? That would be very interesting. And that would really kind of spark up a lot more buyers and a lot more refinances as well. So all interesting things. We're going to keep our finger on the pulse of the market. That's our goal with a video like this, a monthly market update video. My name is Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. When it's your time to reach out, please do. Call us, text us, set up that meeting. We'll go get a cup of coffee if you're local, or if you're not local, we'll just do a Google Meet or a Zoom call. Get to know you and your goals, and then we'll try our best to help you accommodate and achieve those goals. That's what we want to do with this channel, and we thank you for watching these videos. I'll see you on the next one.